Hello, my name is Joseph Castleberry. I am the DP and editor for the film Moon Talk, shot in 2021, written by Roberto J. I decided to do a little technical series here and talk about the look I was going for, the lenses I chose to use and why, probably the particular settings I had to use to get the looks that we got. Yeah, and so let's just kind of dive in. I have little notes at the bottom that'll kind of note the lens that I used and everything as I talk about them. Alright, so starting out here we have the Sigma 24-105 ART. Great for the gimbal work, has a variable zoom, right? So we can zoom in, punch in on shots like this, go ultra wide for these establishing shots just to get that look we were going for. Very sharp, very clear, smooth, soft bokeh. Helped really sell the mood of this shot. This is a spherical shot, so it's 16:9 aspect ratio. Later on you'll see a shift more anamorphic, like a 240:1 ratio. But for this we needed that more grand entrance look. So here I went with the Canon 100mm macro. I needed to get something that looked like he was coming back to reality, and the further we went in the film, the sharper and clearer things started becoming, and this provided that. Here's our first introduction to one of the Atlas Orions. This is a 40mm anamorphic lens. As you see on the outer edges, you get that kind of like distorted looking out of focus area. This kind of helped us sell the idea of Roberto's character, Elliot, who has multiple personality disorder. And so the Orions were used to kind of show that mood and that feeling that he might be going through. And as the film progresses, you'll notice as reality becomes more clear to him, the lenses will have less and less of this effect. So here on the exterior scenes, I decided to go with the 65mm Orion. These were stopped to around T7, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, to make sure we took away a lot of that effect you get on the edges, because her state of mind is not the same as Elliot's character, so we just didn't need that here. The Sigma 14-24 ART again, wide angle shot for inside the car. And we got the Olympus 17mm on the drone, just get this beautiful bright overhead shot that we needed. And the 65mm Orion here. When he peeked through that door, all I wanted was to get that little bit of like distorted sense of mystery, and this lens just killed it. And for the dinner scene here, I went with two lenses, the 65mm Orion for this, the Sigma 14-24 for this. I needed Elliot's character to have more of a childlike feel, and that like super wide angle kind of gave me that, and I loved it. I mean, I think it helped achieve kind of selling this, again, childlike state of mind that he was in. It was pretty important to this scene to have a different feel. I also just love the way it rendered that ceiling too. Just get this wide shot with all this lighting and this depth going on. Spent quite a bit of time making the decision to go anamorphic to spherical back and forth. I thought at this point in time in the film, we're just past the halfway point. I really wanted to create a new mood, and the jump between that soft to the sharp lens, I feel, really helped me achieve that. Another good thing to note too is the way that lighting is rendered between these two different lenses. You know, not just like the sharpness or the softness on the edges, but the actual contrast in lighting feels different. Right? I mean, the color tones are matching, we have a lot of the same color tones there, but just the feel of that lighting also helps sell this mood. It was really beautiful just watching the monitors and see this like come to life on set. Here's our close-up again, back to the 100mm macro for this, just to get this like really clear, sharp shot of his eyes, which changed color throughout the film. Just added a really interesting mood. Now for these scenes here, the Sigma 24-105, it gave us a good range for not having to, we didn't have a lot of room to swap lenses and pull the camera back, so the zoom gave us the flexibility we needed for this location. 100mm macro for the close-ups. Just love the look of that lens. But yeah, this 24-105 just killed it in this situation. It's very sharp, but has a smooth background, like out of focus area. And so it just helped give us a really good separation, so you really focused on the characters. Plus the contrast of that lens is really nice. So I didn't have to really do much work to these either. not in the contrast area. Had a really nice smooth roll off in the highlight areas. Didn't have to work those at all. So yeah, that's the lens design for Moontalk. I'll have more of this technical series coming later on my future projects, so stay tuned.